on trust in the BBC?
I completely trust the BBC. Only the BBC would call us together in a studio and say, mea culpa in this way. I think the BBC learns harsh lessons, does learn from them, and goes on and makes fantastically important programmes.
I've never known it like this.
All right, listen, thank you all very much. Now, here's something you don't hear every day. The Treasury has found some money down the back of the sofa. It's quite a lot of money. Not enough to let the good times roll, but enough to get Joe Lynam into the studio. Joe, thanks for doing this. This money wasn't obviously really found on the back of a sofa, was it?
Not really, no. I think we should start with the printing presses, because that's where it all starts. In order to stoke up the economy, the Bank of England was charged with creating money through quantitative easing, and it created £375 billion over the last few years. What it's done is it bought government bonds from banks and pension funds and insurance companies and all that kind of stuff with this new money. Now, attached to those government bonds is something called a coupon, which is an interest rate, an annual payment, as it were.
Could you not do with a nice graphic to illustrate all of this? Have they closed the graphics department down?
The cash pile has been diminished so much in other investigations.
Okay, you're doing very well just with words. Go on.
That I don't have the money. Now, the coupon basically has to be repaid, because it's a government bond, by the government. And here's the funny bit. The Treasury, or the government, has to borrow from the Bank of England in order to repay this coupon. Now, the difference between what it borrows for, which is half of 1%, the current bank rate, and what it has to pay the coupon, or the interest rate, to the bonds, is around 2%. And that has built up what's called a cash pile or a profit. Now, what's happening now is that that cash pile will no longer necessarily just sit there in the Bank of England. The Treasury will continue to pay the coupon, but it'll get a rebate every quarter, and that's where the figures are kind of massaged, as it were, because it will help reduce the debt pile in the short term. It won't reduce the debt pile, but it will reduce it in the short term.
So what can George Osborne do with this?
Well, potentially very little, because the only thing he can necessarily do is when he stands up to make his autumn statement in 3 weeks' time, he can say that my target of bending the debt curve downwards,
that would have been a great graphic.
That would have been a great graphic.
Lovely.
Is now on target. Whereas had he not found £35 billion, which is what we're talking about here, he might not necessarily have been able to say that. Labour have been saying it's all smoke and mirrors, and us jaundiced journalists are saying that, yes, why are they doing this now just before the autumn statement? The government says this is very transparent, and we're coming into line with the Japanese and the Americans in our process. But let's just wait and see what the Office for National Statistics say and the Independent Office for Budget Responsibility.
Joe, thank you.